welcome to our live stream. I'm Brooke, and we have some dude over here that I've never heard of.
My name's Frank Marlowe. It's nice to meet you.
Just kidding. It's the famous Kyle T. Webster.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on the stream.
We've got a lot of people joining us, it looks like. We had a great segment with Mark earlier. Wow, we've got a lot of people shouting out. So awesome. What are you drawing today? I hear the theme is like robots or something.
Yeah, there's going to be a robot.
All right.
The first thing I'm going to do before we do any robots is I was going to do a quick demonstration of getting some brushes into a library and then getting those brushes into Adobe Photoshop Sketch on the iPad. Mm-hmm.
Little back and forth workflow
yeah,
there.
We're going to do that. And I also, in the second half of the stream, want to show off when I do draw a robot, how to use the perspective grid in Adobe Photoshop Sketch. I don't think enough people actually play around with that. I did a little video about it on YouTube recently, but I just wanted to reinforce how cool that was.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of people saying hi in the chat, and for those of you who are with us, we want you to be drawing robots with us as well. You can submit them on Behance, I believe, and we are going to feature them at the end, and we are going to see which one you like the best. And I believe there's even a chance to win.
Oh, look.
But unfortunately, there's no like drawing with Kyle brushes on this. I mean,
that's okay.
Okay.
And I don't get to enter the contest because that's a really cool pillow. I like that.
I'm sure we can pull some strings if you really want.
Okay.
So draw your robots. A few people said that they're going to be doing their robots with your brushes, which is super awesome.
Awesome.
We want to know what brushes you're using. What are your favorites? Let's get started, shall we?
People need to quickly download the robot brush set. I'm just kidding. Please don't take that for real. People are going to go looking for that.
Robot brushes.
No, that does not exist. That does not exist. All right, so, well, here's what happened. I made a library of brushes here using, so if you go in Photoshop, if you go to your window and make sure that libraries are visible, you see this little option here. Make sure there's a check mark there. That means you are seeing those. You can create little libraries of pretty much anything in terms of assets. And so for brushes, I have this little set called Kyle iPad Superset. And I was almost done building it, but I figured I'd save the last little bit for this demonstration so you could all see how that works. I've got my brushes panel open here, and all I have to do to add to my Kyle iPad Superset is take a brush, drag it, and drop it right there. It's as simple as that.
That's super easy.
I know, and the cool thing is when I update that library, because I'm signed in on my iPad as me, it will automatically update the library as well so that I can use those brushes directly in Sketch. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to drag the creamy variation. This is from Kyle's Paint Box in the Mega Pack. Just pop that over there. It adds it to the library. And there was one more brush I wanted to grab, and that was a pencil. So I'm going to open up the drawing box, and I'm going to scroll down, and it's called Kid Crayon. Here it is. But I kind of like using it as a pencil.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out that this little panel here is new as of last year at Max. We released that just because earlier, like, there was no good way to really visualize your brushes, and now, bada boom, bada bing, a little Adobe magic.
And I forget that I haven't, the last time I did a live stream with the new version of Photoshop was actually at Max. So between that time and now, I haven't done much to talk about it. So this is a good opportunity to just quickly explain that now with your brushes panel, you do have the ability to organize brushes into folders, as you can see here. So the Mega Pack is in a folder, and inside there I've got the drawing box and all the other subcategories. You can quickly drag and drop brushes and reorganize them. You can rename them. And also, there's this little slider here at the bottom of your brushes panel. And a lot of people, when they first open up Photoshop and they have all these brushes, it looks like this.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, hey, I can't read anything. It says Kyle's drawing bow, and that's it. And they don't know which brushes they need. So what I do is I take that slider, drag it to the right, and then I can max out the preview for the brush stroke. I can see what kind of a tool it is. Over here on the top right corner shows me this is a smudge tool, shows me this is a regular brush tool. And if I were to scroll down a little farther, you'll notice I now have also my mixer brushes. So different categories are all visible. And this is wonderful and simple, and It also makes it great because you have other options. So for example, if I want to see the stamp of the brush, not just the brush stroke preview,
Yep.
I can come up here and I can show brush tip, and
Perfect.
there, now I can see that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, some people are asking, hey, are these brushes available on iPad? And I do just want to point out the process that you're showing, that dragging the brushes from this panel into the library is what makes them available on the iPad, which is awesome.
Right. And let's just clarify one thing. Of the 14 or 1,500 brushes that are available to all the Creative Cloud subscribers right now, 90% of them will work in Adobe Photoshop Sketch. The ones that will not work, and it's important to note, are erasers, but I'm going to show you a cool workaround for that.
Yes.
Yeah, mixer brushes. Mixer brushes are a category of brush. Those do not yet work in Sketch. And also smudge tools. But that leaves you with about 1,350 tools that you can still work with.
No big deal.
It's probably way more than you need, right? And so even for me, that's just overwhelming, which is why I'll create these smaller sets and I'll just bring them over and play around with them in Sketch.
So now we have someone asking, is there a way to favorite your brushes?
You know what I do to do that? I create a new folder and I'll just call it Favorites, like so. And I'll go inside and first I'll drag it to the top so it's always the first thing I see. And then I'll grab brushes from inside the Mega Pack or wherever else, and I'll just click and drag them up into my favorites.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then if you create a library of favorites, then you can have those on Sketch.
Absolutely.
And I do just want to say, any questions about Photoshop or Sketch, I think between the two of us, we can probably answer them.
I hope so. Yeah, I would
And
hope
if
so.
we can't, we know people who can.
Yeah, we have connections. We can find someone who's got an answer. Maybe somebody even in this room here.
Yeah.
Right. All right, and because you can't see, there are people all in front of us, and they're
We've got an
trolling us
entire
this whole time.
crowd.
Yeah,
It's like Good Morning America out there.
they're making faces at us, trying to mess us up while we talk, but it's not going to work.
Yeah. Now, I do have one last question
Sealed.
before we go on, because I know everyone wants to get to your drawing.
Yeah.
What are you drawing on today?
Okay, so
Let's give a little breakdown of your tools.
of the
here.
tools, sure. All right, now this is a Wacom Cintiq 22 HD. It's about 4 or 5 years old. I'm actually using my own pen, which I brought with me from home because it has a felt nib that I've been drawing with for about 3 months. And the felt nib gets worn down when you draw with it and becomes super soft and flexible, and I love it. If you are not familiar with the different kinds of nibs you can use with a Wacom pen, I highly recommend going out and ordering a little set where you can get the kind that has a little spring in it, and you can get the felt nibs, the regular plastic nibs, and just give them a try and see what you like. I like the felt because when I draw on the glass, it gives me just a little bit more resistance and sort of a scratchy feel, like pencil on paper.
Which is really nice, and that's what I hear a lot of illustrators say they miss, particularly when they're working on the iPad.
Yes.
Is they kind of miss that sort of like drag, and I know there's workarounds to it. Rob Zilla, who was on that was hosting this morning, he likes to put a protective cover on his iPad, a screen cover.
Yeah.
So there are different options to get that sort of same visceral
Absolutely,
feeling.
and I think people who just are coming from working with traditional materials really just love to have that extra bit of feel, a little bit of touch instead of just pure plastic on glass. Other people don't mind it at all. It's all down to personal preference. So, you know, you do what feels good for you.
Yep.
So that's what this is. And I use key commands when I draw. So if I'm in Photoshop, I'm constantly keeping one hand hovering above the keyboard. That's my right hand since I'm a lefty. And that way I can never let down the pen. And I also don't have to go over to my toolbar and change tools while I'm working. I can just use key commands to do that as I draw. Especially if I want to sample color. So I've always got one hand ready to hit the Option key, which temporarily pulls up my eyedropper tool. And then I can, whoops, here we go. I can sample color. Sample black, sample gray, sample white. Okay, so that's Photoshop, that's the Cintiq. Over here, I've got the iPad Pro. This one is about 2 years old, so it's not the latest model, but it's excellent. And I'm going to be using my Apple Pencil with that when we move some of our brushes over into there. Okay?
Cool. Sounds good.
All
Let's
right.
get going. Let's get drawing.
All right, let's do it. So I'm going to add one more brush here, and then you'll see that what's going to happen is my library is going to get updated over there. I changed my mind. I was thinking I might grab another inker. So scroll down, make sure I don't have it already. Yeah. Now remember, there are way too many tools. So what you have to do, and this is something I tell people all the time, but I don't think enough people actually do it. You got to set aside about 2 or 3 hours, get the Mega Pack, and just try literally every brush that's in there. That's the only way you're going to find something that you really, really like. And I know people don't want to take the time to do it, but the thing is, if you settle on a few brushes that you like without having explored everything else that's in there, you're definitely going to miss out because there's so many options. And there's something that might be lurking around in there that really suits your personal style, and you never will have discovered it, and that would be a shame. Let's see, I like that scritchy pen. Yeah. All right, I'm going to click and drag, scritchy pen goes in. There we go. And now I think I have a total of 20 brushes in this library. All right, so now I'm going to put down the stylus, and we're going to come over to the iPad. And I'm going to
scoot over so you have a little bit of room?
I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit actually, and just do this. Hold this over here. And of course I need my pencil. Excuse me for a second. Can't draw
Play
without the
hand-wavy music while Kyle disappears. Just for those of you who are just now tuning in, draw robots with us today. Submit them on Behance. We are going to show them at the end, or I'll even show some in the middle. But submit them. If you were late submitting while you were watching Mark Crilly, we'll still bring them up.
Right.
Segue back to Kyle.
I'm here. I just had to get the pencil. Apple Pencil, by the way, if you don't already know about this, they have these little pieces at the back that you can remove, and then you can plug in the pencil so that it recognizes and syncs with Bluetooth, or also if you need to charge it. The problem is that people are constantly losing these little end caps. And so I don't know the brand name of this one. Let's see, Cozy it says. Mm-hmm. But you can buy different brands of these little pieces that you can attach to the pencil to ensure that you never again lose that. So I highly recommend these. They will save you a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So how do you get your brushes in Sketch? Well, if you long tap on whichever brush you're currently using, you'll notice that you then have your options here. And this is the Kyle iPad Superset. This is the same library set that I had created in Photoshop, and I just added the creamy variation and the scritchy pen, and you'll notice they're the first two brushes sitting right there. It updates automatically. This is amazing. Now if I wanted to go to another set, I would just click on the little arrow in the top left corner, okay, and you'll see there's all my libraries, okay, and currently I have this one selected, so that's what I'm going to be working with. And these work exactly like they work in Photoshop. So my spatter brush will do
so gorgeous.
Same thing it does as Photoshop. Super fun. Okay. To undo, swipe 2 fingers to the left, like so. Mm-hmm. All right. So I thought today what I'd do is a quick demonstration of how to draw just a human head, but to do it in a way that's really kind of organic and fun, where I'm not exactly sure where everything's going to go. I'm just going to lay down some watercolory effects and some other brushy stuff, and then on top of that, build.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah, so this is kind of a spontaneous way of working, and I think that with digital work, a lot of times people go into it with a very solid plan of action, and what's missing from that is that fun and that spontaneous way of working with natural materials where you just throw stuff on a piece of paper and see what happens. And I want people to start trying to do that digitally as well, and the brushes help with that. So I'll just do a demonstration of that.
I think that sounds perfect.
All right, so long tap, I can select different brushes. And one of the brushes I loaded was a watercolor brush, Color Magic 2K17 variant. And currently it sticks with the color that I just had, so I'm going to change that color. And I'm going to go with something kind of bluish and purple. It's kind of pretty. Maybe like that. All right. And I'm just going to hold the pencil like a screwdriver, like this. Okay, this is another thing. If you're constantly holding the pencil like you're about to write a letter, you might miss out on ways that you might move your hand in a more natural way.
Right, and the cool thing about the Apple Pencil is, it can use the side of the pencil, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so the taper from the barrel straight down to the tip is just perfectly smooth. So for any kind of brush that recognizes tilt, this is very convenient. So I'll just do this, put some color down.
So while you're drawing, I've got a couple questions for you. Number one is, how do you come up with ideas for brushes that you want to create? I mean, you've created 1,300 and some brushes, which is insane. I mean, that blows my mind. But like, where do you like wake up one day? You're like, I think the world needs another, or I think the world needs a, XYZ brush. Where
Pretty
do
much.
these ideas come from?
No, that's pretty much it. It'll be something I want to use for myself. It's always it's something that I think to myself, oh, that'd be fun. I'd like to do that myself, and then I'll just make it. And hopefully I think someone else will enjoy this as well. I don't have any guarantees of that, but that's really what it is. It's me thinking, I wish a brush could do fill in the blank, and then I'll fiddle around in Photoshop until I make it do that, and and then I'll move on to something else. And then a lot of times things just happen by accident. I'll be working on trying to make something look like pastels, and it comes out looking like something completely different, but I'll also like the way that looks, so I'll save that. That happens all the time. Now, just like Photoshop, with my brush, I can change the mode of the brush. All right, so...
This is one of my favorite tricks.
This is pretty cool. So the blend mode is currently set to multiply. Now, how did I pull this up? Well, when I go to my brush settings where I have the color and the flow and the size, at the very bottom you see these little bars, 3 on top of each other. I'm going to click on that, and up here I see blend mode. And when I change that, okay, I have all these options like Photoshop as well. And I'm just going to set the mode to clear. And that means I'm going to start erasing while I paint. So I can do this.
This is what I love because it allows you to erase with any sort of brush.
Yep.
So,
and I can change the flow, pull it way down, and not erase as quickly. Just like that. So already we have something that looks like wet media on the surface. Okay.
So cool.
And then I'm going to go back and grab another one of these. We're going to do the spatter 700, lower the flow a little bit.
Now, when you're working on a project, how do you decide what size of canvas to start on?
Well, if it's for print, that's already going to be established right off the bat. I'm going to think, okay, well, this needs to print, needs to be high resolution, and I'd like for it to be slightly larger than the final print size, just in case. So I'll always build in a little extra space for that. You never know if something's going to have to get enlarged a little bit at the end. And because what I'm working in is a raster environment, this is not a vector environment. Things don't get scaled up very nicely. Even though I have to say the new enlargement feature, when you resize your not your canvas, but resize your document in Photoshop 2018, Creative Cloud 2018, there's a new option for resizing that does an excellent job of sizing up your image. Anything about 150% or less, you're not going to be able to tell that there's any real pixelation or anything like that. It's pretty fantastic.
That's pretty cool. And I have to do this because I know that this is coming because I'm the one who works on this on Sketch, is that we are getting very large document sizes.
Right.
The other day I was playing around with a document that was 20 by 27 inches.
Holy cow.
I don't know how to convert that to metrics at 300 DPI. Guys, that's huge.
That is massive.
So April or May, hold tight. If you've been dying for that feature and you use Sketch, it's coming.
I get a lot of comments on Twitter, people saying, when is this going to happen? You just answered that question.
I know. So. Hopefully I made someone's dream come true.
Well, it is a big deal, If you could print a poster out of Sketch,
totally.
Just think, you could be sitting on a plane, and you could be drawing an actual for print.
Yeah.
Enormous poster.
That's the thing is, just think about a couple years ago, like before the pencil, for example, the iPad, people were like, you can read on it, you can watch movies.
Yeah.
But now I know people who make a living working, doing illustration using their iPad only, which is pretty awesome.
It is amazing, and it happened really fast. That's the crazy thing. There was that Make It on Mobile event just, 2.5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, you were there.
Right, and I was kind of thinking, oh, well, this will take a while to catch on, and I was wrong.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. While you're working on that, let's look at some of the submissions maybe. We've already got some cool robot submissions. We've got like a robot falcon. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of Iron Man style, I think. We've got also, what have we got? Oh, nice. We've got a drill sergeant into this one. A filament fly. It's very cool. Oh, nice. Check this out. We've got the bulb.
Oh, that's funny.
That's pretty awesome.
That's clever. Good job.
Oh, this is nice. We got a little fisherman with an Adobe logo on his chest.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You
Now,
think you got
I'm going to
robot
have to say,
toes.
it looks like I opened this one twice. We're going to have you keep an eye on these because I think at the end you get to choose your favorite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, no big deal.
And I don't want any hate mail. People can say, "Why didn't you pick mine? Why didn't you pick
Right,
mine?"
right.
Believe it or not,
So we've already got some
of that.
great submissions coming in. Make sure you have it in. It looks like we've got an hour and 10 minutes left to submit your robot. Use some Kyle brushes and tell us what you think. Tell us which ones you used, or which ones you're using right now as you're drawing,
Yeah, I'm
along
always
with
curious
Kyle.
about that.
Yeah. And I think, what is it? The winner gets something. Oh, a year of Creative Cloud.
Holy cow!
That's money.
That's not a small prize.
That's a really big prize, actually. And I believe we're giving away this Photoshop pillow as well, which I think after Kyle's done drawing, he's probably going to steal it and take
I
a
am going to
nap.
steal
So
it.
claim your
Yeah.
prize.
It's totally mine now.
I think we have a few extras.
As I'm going to, forgive me if I'm not talking, but I should be saying what I'm using and so on because I know
Yeah, that'd
people
be
like to know. Let's see, the brushes I've got here. The one I'm currently using is called Kyle's Paintbox Watercolor Fill. This is going to be in the Mega Pack, and it's an update to the Mega Pack, which I don't want to get in trouble for saying this, but I think might be live. I think this might be live.
Ooh.
I will double check, and tomorrow we will be absolutely clear on this.
Nice.
But I'm pretty sure that Mega Pack update is live and people can use this brush. And before that, I was using the spatter from the spatter brush set. I had renamed it to Spatter 700, but that one's called Beautiful Mess. That's in the spatter brush kit. And let's see, before that, what was it? Soft Spread. That's the one that looks like this. It does this crazy stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's like ink blots, on paper. And then I used that also in sort of an erase mode, which is clear mode, we call it. And earlier when I was saying that you can't import your own erasers, it really doesn't matter because what you can do, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 5 brushes that are always visible at all times in Photoshop Sketch. So what I do is I'll just take one of them and assign it to be the eraser.
The blend mode of clear.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then I have a built-in eraser and it can do anything I want it to do.
Yeah, and that's what we had some people asking in the chat. They're like, I would love a way to quickly change to clear mode for a brush. Just assign one of the brushes in the set as clear blend mode and you've got your eraser brush. We also did have a question that I saw. Someone was asking about when are the Photoshop brushes coming to Sketch Android, and I do have to say that is also coming very soon.
Yes.
I feel like I'm full of teases right now.
Yeah.
Like document size is coming really soon. Photoshop brushes on the Android coming soon, but I promise you they are. Promise you.
These things are happening. Just remember, we want it to be perfect. We don't want to release it and then have anything wrong. So it's all about quality control. It's got to be perfect.
It is. It does have to be perfect. Now, I'm curious about your technique here because at first you were just kind of just looked like you were scribbling. Like how
Right.
I guess I'm looking for process. Like when you go about starting an illustration, you wanted this one to be kind of more free form and organic.
Yeah.
How do you start something like this?
I wanted to put some stuff down that just looked interesting, had some texture and things like that. Now I'm using this other watercolor brush. It's called Watercolor Wash Grainy. That's currently in the Mega Pack as well. I set the brush mode to clear, and I'm just kind of coming over here and I'm sculpting out some of the neck here, and this is going to be back of the ear. And I'm going to do a 3/4 view face. And so in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about what these shapes are going to be and refining it a little bit. And I'll come in and I'll keep doing additive and subtractive things as I go. So add a little here, take a little away there, and then go into the actual facial features. I'm not going to make anything particularly tight or detailed here. I want to retain some of this quality. But yeah, that's just a process. It's really very reactive.
Yeah, I really, and also reductive in a way because you're putting stuff on and then you're saying, okay, here's where I want to remove it. And I really love how you're just allowing it to be much more organic for a longer period of time because I feel like a lot of times when I'm sketching, I want to sketch and then quickly tighten it, and you're kind of just allowing it to be, and I think that's really nice.
It's more fun for me to just stay in this zone for as long as possible without getting too tight. And again, I do think that's something people don't do as often as they could in Photoshop or in any digital art environment. They just go in so tight right from the bat, right off the bat. that they maybe miss out on some of this fun stuff that can happen if you just throw stuff on there and see, what's this going to make. So speaking of which, this is one of the brushes that's coming in the update, the Ruffin. And it's just one of these brushes that does that. I don't,
Oh, very cool.
It's just going to do stuff that I can't always control that well.
Seriously,
but I want that.
I am blown away by how realistic your brushes look. Every
Thank
single
you.
time. They're so awesome.
Thank you so much. By the way, I'm sampling color too, and that's easy. You just tap and hold on the color, and then you can drag it around your document and find what you need.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I know because I get little notes sometimes on Twitter. People say, "Where's the eyedropper tool?"
Oh my gosh,
And
I
I
know.
said, "This is the eye." You
Well, there-
click
yeah,
and drag.
yeah.
It's there. It's there. It's just that it's not something everybody knows is available. So.
Yeah, I've seen a few people on the chat asking, when is the lasso tool coming to Sketch? Unfortunately, I have nothing official for you to sneak right now, but I can tell you that I also want a lasso tool.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
You know what, I do have to, so there's not a lasso tool, but we do have a feature that not a lot of people know about, and it's called Paint Inside. And this
yes.
is similar to lock transparency in Photoshop, if you ever use that. And so what this is actually in the layer options. Actually, do you mind popping open the layer
Happy to.
option?
So here's my layer. I'm just going to tap on it one time. And here you can see Paint Inside is the very last option. You can toggle it on or off. And just to demonstrate how it works, if I turn that on, okay, now I'm going to come out here beyond where my area is currently painted into the white, and I'm just going to be scrubbing away here. Nothing's happening. Okay? It's because, just like lock transparency, whatever pixels are already part of that layer, only those remain active and you can actually edit them. So I can then come over here. I'm going to paint from the right of the screen all the way to the left in one single stroke. And you'll see that something happened right through the middle, but then stopped again on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's happening there.
So it's not technically the lasso tool, but what it allows you to do is it allows you to create sort of mask. And what, like, the trick that I like to use is I like to paint whatever it is I want, turn on Paint Inside.
So I'll make a shape, whatever that shape is, okay? I'll make a shape I want. And then I'll turn on Paint Inside. Okay, there we go. Change my color. And now this is like my acting like a selection, okay? So I can do whatever I want. I can paint anywhere outside of it. And then if I want to, also I'm going to change to this brush here. 1 second. I can come from the side. It's like that's my selection. And what's cool is, too, I can then just do set a brush mode to clear and refine that shape, and that can be how, is that similar to how
and then you can toggle it on and off, which is great, because once you toggle it on, you can toggle it back off, and then you're free to draw on the layer. You want to know a little hack that I like to do?
Yes, please. I like hacks.
So what I like to do is if I don't want a color in the background, or I want to like kind of fake it, I turn off the background layer, I hide the background layer. Well, first what I'll do is, let's rewind. I like to sample the canvas color.
Okay.
Okay. And then...
All right, sample canvas.
And then I turn off the background layer. And then I create a new layer, or whatever. And then I draw whatever it is that I want to be inside of that shape. Then I turn the background layer back on. And then you have... it's still paint.
Right.
But you have a fake.
Oh, so let me try that. So I'm going to make a... All right. So
you'll have to sample the background.
Sample the background color?
Well, because you basically like paint the shape that you want to paint inside.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So sample the background. There we go. And now I'm going to paint something. Turn this off so I can see it.
Yes, you can see what you're doing.
And
then you go in with the brush that you want to paint. So then you can turn the background back on if you want. Can't see it. So many hacks.
Now I can do... Oh, I forgot to turn the...
Oh, you got to turn on
turn that... There we go. And now... What did I do wrong? Brooke, what happened?
I promise, it works.
Oh, maybe I just didn't paint. I didn't paint as big as the actual shape was. Oh yeah, it does work. Look at that.
Ta-da!
Neat.
So that is a hack, but
That's
anyway,
a cool hack.
we went down a very, very rabbit hole here. Let's get back to
That's
drawing.
all right. People, it's cool to know this stuff. I think people need to know this stuff. All right, so back to the roughen. I'm going to crank that thing up. There we go.
And I just want to mention there's a few of you who came late to the stream. Kyle is using brushes that he pulled into a library. So he created a new library in Photoshop, pulled in the brush, dragged the brushes over that he wanted to use in this project, and then he's opened that library in Photoshop Sketch. So that is how you get most of your 95% of your Photoshop brushes in Sketch
the
on your
vast
iPad.
majority will work in
With
here,
the
which is
exceptions
super cool.
of racers and mixer brushes.
Mixer brushes, smudge tools,
Yep.
yeah. There's one other kind of tool I forgot to mention, but so few people actually use it. It's the pencil tool, it's called in Photoshop.
What?
People don't really use it.
Oh, really?
It allows you to draw in alias mode, so you're not anti-aliasing anything.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's not commonly used, but it exists. So that I just thought I'd mention. In case there's somebody out there who just always using that pencil tool. I haven't met that person yet. I've met a lot of artists, but somebody out there probably uses it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get you excited and then you think, I'm going to import the pencil tool and nothing happens.
This
Yeah,
is
but
awesome.
so you see
This
what's
is coming
happening is
together,
something's starting to happen here where we're getting what appears to be a sort of a human form. Alrighty, so this is a little face coming through, and this is what I'll do is I'll just build it slowly using all these different brushy brushes, you know, painterly brushes and wet media looking effects and so on. And then I'll come back in. Maybe I could do some line work on top of it, and I like to think about there being a single source of light. So this is just a top light situation where there's light above this person's face, and so I'm going to be darkening areas where there are any shadows that would be created, you know? So under the mouth here, under that lower lip. There.
That's looking really good.
Thanks.
We had someone who asked a very good question. What is alias? And they don't mean Jennifer Garner. Alias.
Did they say that in the comment?
Yeah, they actually did.
That's
I
cute.
can't. I really want to take credit for it, but I can't. That was who was it? I think she went off the chat.
That's funny. Yeah, alias and anti-alias. Okay. So when you're, what's an easy way to explain this?
Alias.
Can you do it, Brooke?
So anti-aliasing means that you have slightly fuzzy edges, so it's not pixel perfect. What we do is we blur sort of the line to make it look like you are cutting through pixels, even though you actually can't. So if you have alias, if your lines are alias, which is, we said the pencil was alias, that means it only adheres to the pixel grid. So nothing can be a half a pixel. And really, you can only see that when you zoom in to the pixel grid in Photoshop. That's when you can really tell.
Yeah, if you zoom in to whatever it is, what's the highest you can do, like 800 or 1,000 or something crazy, you will see those pixels lining up next to each other one by one, and you'll see that what's happening is it's assigning grayscale values of the color that you've selected to make that work. So that transition looks really smooth.
Yeah, and there's different reasons. I mean, I know some people that feel very strongly about everything being alias, and I know some people feel very strong about being anti-alias, but really, I think we've had this conversation before. It really depends on the type of work you're doing about whether or not you want it on or off.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong about it at all because it depends on the work you're doing.
Yeah, so this is not a fight to be had. Everyone is right.
Exactly. Thank you. Just stop arguing about it. All right, now
It's so cool watching you create this.
Thank you. I hope everyone else is enjoying me just playing here. This is fun for me. But I would love for people to just try this kind of thing more often. I've got this other one, spatter. Let's see where it is. See, even with 20 brushes, I need to be looking for stuff. Oh, here, this spatter again. I can see that. I look at something like this and I think I can just add a little bit more rough stuff to it. And I'm going to check the brush mode here. change it to multiply.
So now, when do you decide to change the brush mode versus the layer blend mode? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so I'm doing all of this on one layer. So because I don't want to add a layer, I'm just going to change the brush mode.
Okay.
So that I'm getting the same effect of where if I do this, you know, it's going to darken what's
Totally
underneath
makes sense.
it. Right. And now, of course, I could do the same thing by creating a new layer, keeping the brush mode as normal, and then assigning the layer mode to be multiply.
So when you decide to stay on the same layer versus create multiple layers, do you have any sort of, is there a decision point where you're like, yeah, I just feel like working on one layer today, or is it
The
more
multiple layer
intentional?
thing happens when I'm less confident and I don't know if what I'm going to try is going to work out.
So your
and
confidence level is like 110 right now.
doing an exercise like this, I'm not really having these, I don't have expectations for it like it needs to meet a certain kind of, there's no criteria for it that a client is giving to me saying we need this, we need that. If I'm doing client work, if it's a commission, if it's an illustration job for a magazine or book or things like that, I work on lots of layers so I have lots of options I can toggle on and off, try different things out, things like that. In this kind of a situation, it's very low pressure. I'm demonstrating how to try to work this way. It's fun. I know that I'm not going to get, you guys aren't going to, at the end of this, say, you know, well, we don't like it, so don't ever come back.
So, Kyle, sorry, you're not coming back tomorrow. Not hired.
You know, there's also kind of a cool, fun thing about the working this way. It's a little bit risky in a fun way, which is, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, and that makes it exciting. So with a tool like this spatter tool, it does all kinds of random things, and what I'll do sometimes is just hit it, you know, and say, is that cool? Yeah, I'll leave it. And if I don't like it, just 2 swipes and
yeah,
no big
I
deal.
wish people could see what you're doing with your hands because it's actually very similar to how you would work with traditional media. He's kind of just like flipping it on.
Yeah, you know, I can, and the pressure is going to control that too. If I really bear down, I'm going to get a darker shot like that. And so now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm working, it's kind of cool how the hair is going out that way.
Yeah, I'm really into that.
I could probably extend that. And so I will. And just to make some room, I'm going to hit transform. Just drag that over here, like that. So compositionally, that gives me room to play over here. Say OK. And I'm going to sample some more of that color, that purpley color like that. Let's see, more purpley pink, sort of like this. Like that. And add just a little bit more action over here. You know, I don't know exactly what's going to happen every time I do this. That's what's so fun.
Yeah, I'm very into this.
Okay, your turn.
Oh,
Just
man,
add some spatter.
no way.
Okay.
I just want to break in for a little bit. We have 50 minutes for people to submit their robots.
Uh-oh.
Get going, guys. And I do want to say that if you don't have time to finish it now, I believe you can submit it during the next stream.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, our stream is pretty cool, so...
Yeah, do it now.
Do it now.
This is the one. And now I'm using that roughen brush again, and I don't know, I'm just adding bits and pieces of... So there's a texture that's built into that brush that I really, really like. Can't describe what it is. It's just a texture. But I just like how it adds more interest, you know. I'm going to grab some of this this blue here that's showing up over here and fill in some of the white there just to connect that area a little bit.
Now, Kyle, we have a couple complaints that I've noticed on the chat
Oh no.
about you.
Oh boy.
They are so tied and so curious about what you're doing that they are not able to draw their robots.
All right, let me make this more boring. Well, also I'll take this opportunity, quick shout out to Hermione and Wolfie, my kids, who I think might have been tuning in after school today. They're over on the East Coast.
Oh,
so,
really?
yes.
Hi, Kyle's kids.
Yeah. And I usually bring a little stuffed animal to sit here with me.
Oh, you do?
And I forgot to do that this time, so...
I have a frog finger puppet I can bring tomorrow.
Excellent, let's do it. Can we please have the frog finger puppet?
Wait, I can't be here tomorrow. I think Rufus is going to be here.
Oh, we can hand it off to Rufus.
Oh.
Rufus has something for us. Okay, now we've got a little companion. This is excellent. Is this a Jeff Koons
knockoff, maybe?
Look at that. So here's a little dog.
Got a little balloon dog.
Now I feel at home. This is better.
Oh, someone said that they thought your babies are your brushes. Wah, wah.
No. They're yes and no. So I'm using the clear mode now with the same brush, the roughen brush, and I'm just very, very lightly touching the surface of the iPad to just lighten up a few areas that I feel don't need as much attention. So I'm clearing it away. I'm erasing a little bit, right? And this is just so that I don't lose focus over here where the face is. I want that to be more where there's a higher area of contrast. So, and these are just basic design decisions that, you do with any kind of drawing or painting. You're thinking about contrast, you're thinking about composition and line weight and transitions from a hard edge to a soft edge, all those kinds of things. That anybody out there who draws a lot, I think a lot of these decisions are sort of instinctual after a while. You kind of notice when something needs attention or when it doesn't, or you can let it be. Anyway, I wanted to point out what I was doing there.
No, this is awesome. I'm curious how you go about choosing colors. Because I know colors is something that a lot of people, I actually struggle with colors a little bit as well. I find myself tending to go back to the same color themes over and over because I know they work. How do you decide to go about, because I love that you're doing very sort of like cold colors on this illustration, but it's also very warm and fun at the same time. Just based on the style.
I consider, so for me, colors is my biggest weakness. I always struggle with color choices myself. And so if I use analogous colors to start off with something, that makes it easier for me. So, purple, blue, pinks, these are all these colors together harmonize well. They're going to play nicely together. So to start off, that's why I'm doing this, because then I'm not really going to be terribly concerned with thinking too much about color.
Right.
Now, when I'm working in Photoshop and I have another, like an assignment to do or something, I've done a demonstration of this before, and I may have done it in a live stream, I can't remember. I did an Adobe Creates event where I show that I'll just pick any three primaries, okay, so any red, any yellow, and any blue, and then I will mix the colors together to create all the other colors. So all the secondary and tertiary and all the neutrals, I'll just blend them all from those three original colors. And I can do a demo of that really quick if you want after as well. That's a quick, and you can do it on the iPad as well. It doesn't matter. And I can do that with the Creamy brush, which I had downloaded. So I'll make a little more progress on this, and then I'll show you that method. And for me, that's an instant way to create harmony, and it just comes from working with natural media. You do the same thing. You want to create colors that work. So you work with just a few colors and blend everything, make everything else from those colors. Because otherwise, it's not going to work. It's too much pressure to try and create a perfect, harmonious color palette. And then think about it. When you're working digitally, you've got millions of colors to pick from.
Sometimes too many.
Oh, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Yeah.
Now, you guys, I don't know if any of you know this, but Kyle doesn't just sit around and create brushes in his spare time. He does that, but you teach.
Yeah.
So this is Art School 101. Listen up, people. You also write books and illustrate them.
Yeah.
You do a lot of things.
I do too
He's a
many
magician.
Things. I'm a hobbyist. I'm a hobbyist with magic, but that's my main hobby. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think I do too much. I need to chill out.
It looks like we've got a giveaway coming up in 15 minutes. Is this the Photoshop pillow giveaway?
Uh-oh.
I think it is. Does that mean I'm just giving this away to you?
I want it.
Ethically.
No, that's not fair. Someone else has to have it.
Yeah. I do have, so someone was just asking, wait a second, do I get all of Kyle's brushes if I'm Adobe Creative Cloud subscriber?
Yes.
And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yep.
Run, do not walk. Go get Kyle's brushes. And
do
you know the link off the top of your head? It's on...
If you go in Photoshop, I don't know, can we switch the screen really quick? Can we show my Photoshop screen? Is that something we can do? I don't know how simple that is to do. Oh, great.
We're going to show you how to get all of Kyle's brushes right now, so listen up, people.
Check this out. I've got my brushes panel open. It's as simple as this. I go to the little menu at the top right corner. This is called a hamburger menu. Click on that, and here it says Get More Brushes. Tap that. Simple as that. And then voila.
And we did have a couple people, thank you, Tim and Jim, who posted the link in the chat. Appreciate that. That is the web link, but you can also do it from directly within Photoshop.
There they are.
And if you put those brushes in a library, you too can have them on your iPad in Photoshop Sketch.
Exactly. And we should have said this earlier, but to make your life easier, don't try and bring 300 brushes into Sketch in one go. That's a terrible idea. Use the brushes in Photoshop. Find what you like. Create a library of favorites. 20, 30 brushes or so. You're not going to need more than that. And then make that library, import those. Make another library of another 20 or something. If you want to bring a bunch of halftones in, bring those in separately, and you can then toggle between your libraries.
Absolutely.
But please do not try and bring the Megapack in. I think the Megapack is now up around 500 brushes. That's crazy.
Yeah, when we were first testing this, I know there was a student who he called it his Kyle library, and he literally put every Kyle brush that he had into it.
In Sketch?
And then I get this call, I'm like, I cannot get this to load on my
that's
iPad.
That's the problem. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
I wish you could, but that's a
Wow,
bad
someone
idea.
said they brought in all of the brushes on their 300 DPI document. That is a feat.
In Sketch?
I guess.
How long did that take?
John? Probably forever. Yeah.
I would think that would be really, really tough. All right, now I'm going to work super dark. I'm going to zoom in for a second here. And just look at where things are. If I zoom in, you can see there's lots of texture and goodness going on in there. All kinds of fun stuff that might not be that visible when I zoom back out again. So now I want to think about refining it just a hair. I don't want to go crazy or anything. I'm not trying to make this super, super tight, I kind of like this quality. In fact, there's an illustrator who's been a hero of mine my entire life. His name is Mark English. He did work all the way from the 1960s right on through the 80s, commercial work, and then segued into doing a lot of painting. His paintings, if you haven't seen them, I really highly recommend people check out Mark English's work. Paintings are just gorgeous, and they have this quality to them where they just seem to appear on the canvas, and I'm sort of trying to go for something like that here. Not that I would ever compare myself to Mark English, but that's one of the things I'm thinking about here. So occasionally I just want to drop a line in, just to add a little structure. So something like that works,
Oh yeah, that's really nice. There are several people who are asking questions about sort of your background, and I have to do a selfish plug.
Okay.
We actually did a show on Make It together.
Yes.
So if you go to YouTube, Creative Cloud YouTube channel, and you search for Make It, Paul Traney and I, who I'm sure some of you know if you're watching live streams all the time, we interviewed Kyle, and so you can learn a little bit more about his background, what he's doing, and you can see a magic trick that he did in Sketch.
Oh yeah. I used Sketch to do some magic. And then we had a surprise guest.
We did have a surprise guest.
And so I got some comments from folks, and they're like, that was totally set up, and you knew about it.
No.
And I promise you, watch the episode. I am floored when this thing happens, and I was able to keep it together, but inside I was freaking out.
Paul and I were so excited.
Yeah. Somebody who I greatly admire in the comics and illustration world shows up during our interview, and that really just blew me away.
Yeah,
so.
That was one of my favorite shows, and it was so cool because when we were talking to you beforehand, and this is if you're curious, it's the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel. Search for Make It. Search for Kyle Webster. We said, Kyle, so when did you know that you'd made it with your brushes? And you're like, oh, it's when Paulo Rivera used one of my brushes in his posters, and we found out that Paulo was here in San Francisco, and so we arranged for him to come on to the show, which was pretty awesome.
So cool. I
Anyway.
had no idea.
We have a giveaway very, very soon. I think it's within the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh,
this Photoshop pillow is going to
crept
go
up.
to one of these lucky, lucky people.
That crept up on us. I
know.
That really just happened.
We do also have about 40 minutes to submit your robot. I know we've got a few more here that are submitted. If they're
40
if they're
minutes?
able to watch it. Yeah, 40 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, we can do something in 40 minutes.
Now, that doesn't mean our stream is over in 40 minutes, does it?
No. We've still got another half hour after that.
Thank goodness.
I mean, time
I had
flies
stuff
when you're
I wanted
having
to
fun.
do. Yeah, but I had things I wanted to show people and had ideas. Of course, I'll be here tomorrow too, but I had some other cool stuff planned for tomorrow.
Ooh.
Yep.
Now, are you doing this in honor of National Women's Day, or is this something that you're doing later?
No,
maybe I'm giving away.
You're giving it away. That's tomorrow, right? Or is it Thursday?
I don't remember.
On that day, I have something special I want to do that I'm excited about, so I won't say any more. But yes, I do want to do something on that day that's pretty cool. And you know what it is.
I know what it is. I heard. I have the inside scoop.
So that will be special. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. All right, I'm going to change my mode.
So Thursday is International Women's Day. So I'll be here for that.
Right.
I will keep it a secret until then. I'll keep it in my back pocket.
Well, you can tell people in this room.
I'll tell the Photoshop pillow what I.
Yeah, but then whoever wins that thing's gonna know.
I know the pillow holds secrets.
That thing better not talk. I don't know if I can trust that pillow.
I know.
So this edge, I feel like the edge on my right, so on the right side of the face is not soft enough. Okay.
Which edge?
This edge right here. It just really went overboard with making
hard.
that. Yeah, I'm not digging it. So in order to fix that, I'm going to grab one of those softer watercolor brushes, and I'm simply going to set it to clear, like so. And I'm just going to lower the flow a little bit. And I'm going to come over here and paint over it. And then I'll come back in and fill in some of that area with that pink again and do some other good stuff. But I just wasn't feeling...
You weren't feeling it?
No. I want some edges to be lost. I want some edges to be a little crisper. But sometimes I just want it to not feel like I went in there and, carved it away so clearly. So I'm just going to take all that away, and then I'll come in and fix it.
Mm-hmm. So we have someone asking if you can create Richard is asking, can you create your own custom brushes in the app? The answer is no, you cannot create them in this app, but we do have an app called Capture that allows you to create your own brushes that you can pull in.
Yeah, and Capture is pretty interesting. It creates stuff that you can't do in any other brush creation environment.
Yeah, it's pretty robust. You can create sketch brushes, Photoshop brushes, Illustrator brushes. It's pretty amazing.
You can also do something where you have a clear beginning, middle, and end of the brush stroke.
I love to play around with it. It's fun to, draw people.
Yeah.
And then, put the brush tip at the head and the brush tail at the foot, and then you can make these really long,
Didn't we have
people.
a Paul brush, Paul Tranning, we had, his whole body was a brush, or someone else?
Maybe. I have an octopus tentacle brush, which is so kind of disgusting but satisfying to play with at the same time. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it.
I might have seen that one. You might have demoed that one for me last time I was out here. Maybe it was when we did Make It or something. That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so no, I think this is the hard part. People are asking if they can see where you're putting your stylus, and that is a little bit of the hard part of the iPad. But we do have...
I can turn that on if you want.
Do you?
It
might be distracting.
It's a little distracting when I'm drawing. But if you want, I can temporarily just turn that on so you can see what that looks like.
Maybe just temporarily.
Yeah.
So people can get a little bit of a feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have the giveaway in 5 minutes, you guys. The Photoshop pillow that holds the secrets of Kyle's Thursday live stream.
Before I do that, I'm going to just do a little bit of stuff out here just to kind of, now that I'm taking that edge away. And then I'll come back. So like you said earlier, it's like this additive subtractive thing. I'm adding, I'm subtracting, I'm adding, I'm subtracting. In this case, I just really wanted to blow out that right side of the face there and not have it be so... It was too crisp. I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I'm really liking the softer edge now. Not that I didn't like it before, but this is... it works a lot better.
Yeah, and I'll come in and I'll do some stuff with that in a minute. All right, let me show you that mode. I'll close this for just a moment, and then we'll go to our settings, and under,
It's under preferences.
Here we go, preferences, show touches. So I'll turn that on for a minute.
And this is really good if you're doing any sort of like stream or if you're educating people where you're on video like this. And what this does is it puts the little tip
See that?
under your stylus so people know where you're drawing. So if you're someone who does, like any sort of education stuff or anything where you're streaming or doing YouTube videos, it's a great option.
Yeah, this is, and I think I can probably, let me see how that feels when I draw with it. It might be a little weird, but I'll just give it a try.
Yeah, it might be distracting. I know Rob Zilla, who was hosting earlier with Rocky, he always has that thing turned on, and I have no idea how he does it.
He has it on all the time?
Well, no, he does it because he does a lot of he's a teacher, so he teaches a lot, and so he always has it turned on.
Oh yeah, see now I can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, you can turn it off.
But it's cool because you can see my two fingers if I do a swipe or move. It's like everything's visible.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna turn that off. All right, sorry gang. But we have that over the shoulder. Yeah, we have that over the shoulder camera though.
Yeah, I know.
So doesn't that help? I hope.
Oh, I feel like when I'm watching stuff, I get stuck on one thing, so you forget to focus on.
Oh, right. I got you. So you're looking at one camera angle and not the other one. Okay. I'm just darkening some stuff up around here. I'm using a soft watercolor brush. And I'm going to now change back to that roughen brush. Grab that, size that down a little bit. And we got the mode on normal. I'm going to sample this lighter color here. And just come and hit that lower lip a little bit with that.
So while you're doing that, Carol is asking about, she doesn't see even your brushes in Photoshop. There was links posted before, but all you have to do is you go up to, is it Help? Get more brushes or Window Get more brushes?
It's just under, in the Brushes panel. If you
in the
go to the little
panel.
Menu right there, the menu.
There's a thing that says Get More Brushes, and you can get it there.
When you have the Brushes panel open, there's that contextual, or do they call it contextual? No, not contextual. They call it a hamburger
menu. It's just like the settings menu or something like that, yeah.
I call it a hamburger menu. Lots of people call it the hamburger menu. That's really probably not what it's called.
And thank you, Daniel, for posting the link. Just posted the link of where to get more brushes.
Oh, who did that?
Everyone's being so super helpful. Everyone on the stream is so nice and chatty. It's like being wrapped in a nice warm hug of comments.
I'm glad so nobody's trolling me yet.
I think we have a pillow giveaway coming up in 1 minute. Now, what is it? Do people have to comment in order to get the pillow? What's the way that we do this? Oh, chat hype.
Okay.
This is not a commenting thing. This is called chat hype. I'm learning.
Cool.
Okay, so we need chat hype. Do we get like a little?
Did you do a drum roll?
Oh yeah, chat hype coming on strong. How do we decide when it's done? All right, so. All right, that sounds good. We've got a Photoshop pillow giveaway coming up. It's so fun to see it blow up, the stream blow up.
I wonder, it's a small pillow. You need a small chair for that pillow.
It is a small pillow.
You need a small chair for that pillow.
Yeah,
it would look funny on a really big couch. It wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm. You got Photoshop on both sides.
I'm doing something weird here. I'm using the roughen brush and I'm just gently kind of scrubbing over all these areas, and it's just knocking them all back because I'm going to do something in a minute with another layer.
So we do have our winner.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Our winner of the Photoshop pillow is Dorina Baneva. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. You won the Photoshop pillow that has all of Kyle's magical secrets in it about what he's drawing on Thursday. Congratulations, Dorina.
So, Brooke.
What?
Did you hear about that in the news, that guy who lost the whole left side of his body?
No, I did not.
He's all right now.
Oh.
Ba-dum-psh.
I know.
Rufus didn't even laugh.
That was kind of a dad. That was kind of a dad joke.
It was a dad joke. But I'm a dad, so I can make dad jokes. Come on now.
You're allowed to make dad jokes.
This is one of the beautiful things: is when you become a dad, you can tell the worst jokes, and everyone just takes it as, that's part of your role in life now, is to try and be funny.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Well, I got that joke from my brother, so you can blame him for how lame it is. And he's not here to defend himself.
Now, and this is your twin brother.
Yes, we're
I
twins.
learned this recently, that you have a twin.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. His
So does
name's
he make
Colin.
illustrator brushes? Oh!
I will say this. I've said this before. He's good at drawing, and he just doesn't do it very much. But he's quite good at drawing. Just doesn't interest him as much. So he didn't take it very far or do anything with it.
So we just had a good question. Are there pros and cons of using tool presets versus brush presets?
Not anymore.
Or are they just one and the same?
Back in the day, before Creative Cloud 2018, before we had Photoshop 2018, the tool presets would retain your brush flow settings, your brush mode settings, opacity, and even color. But now, the ABR file format, which we use for the brushes, does all of that for you. So you do not need to use tool presets anymore. You can save everything in your brushes panel. You can keep them organized and get to see the stroke preview and all that beautiful stuff. It's not necessary. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That makes it so easy. Because I know that was really hard for people. They're like, why do we have one here and one here? And now it's all just one happy family.
It was kind of, people were not happy with that. But I understand. Makes sense. But now, not a problem. So I'm gonna size this down. Let me just test and see. Perfect. A little smaller, and I'm gonna just change the mode now to multiply. Good, we got multiply.
Can you open that back up? I want to show them
sure.
something that they may not know.
What's that? Ta-da!
So if anyone ever decides that they want to change any of these settings here in this panel, you can actually test them by drawing in that little section up at the top. So you can test it out to make sure it's what you want before you make a mark on the canvas.
Live
and
preview.
have to hit that pesky little undo button.
Yeah, shame on me for not doing that. Sorry. Yeah, that's an amazing feature. Nobody knows about it.
We're just throwing so much knowledge at these people.
Just wait, because I haven't even opened up the perspective grid, but I'm going to play with that too.
Yeah.
And you actually can adjust the settings of the brushes in here as well. So like I can bump up the scatter.
Yep.
There's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, you do have some flexibility once a tool is loaded to change it a little bit in there if you like. Now, I said it wasn't going to work on more than one layer, but I just want to try something here.
Traitor.
When I get experimental and I'm worried, is this going to look good or not?
Yeah.
I'll just add another layer.
Okay.
Because I'm going to try some line work over this and just see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to change this layer's mode to multiply. Like so. And let's just see how this feels. So draw a couple of little bits and pieces here to sort of clarify some of these features. The other thing I like about using a separate layer for something like this is I can draw kind of dark, and then I can just reduce the opacity to where I like.
Now, this was kind of the answer when I asked you before, how do you decide to draw on one layer versus multiple layers, and your confidence level, because you're not really for sure if you want this as dark as you're making it, and that gives you the flexibility.
And I'm not sure if I even want any of this description, so to speak. I don't know if I want to describe these features with this much clarity, but I might. So this way, there's just no risk whatsoever. I can just do it, look at it, and if I like it, great. And if not, just chuck it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the beauty of working with digital. At the same time, I think sometimes digital can box you in because you get angsty about making sure your lines are perfect and you undo. Whereas with traditional media, you're kind of just forced to work with what you have, which can be kind of freeing sometimes.
It can be, yeah. I know what you mean. And there are times where I'm working in Photoshop that I just never feel like something is done because I could just keep toying with it, you know? And that can be a problem. But usually the deadline is what determines whether I'm finished working on something or not. I don't have a choice there.
That is, I think most artists and designers would say that.
Yeah, you could even with a logo or something. You know, have I tried everything I could possibly do with this? I could try a little more, and then you realize, well, it's due tomorrow, so that's the end of that.
Yeah, that happens. That's life, I guess. I don't know. While you're doing this, I want to take a look at some more submissions because, let me remind you, beautiful folks out there,
robots.
You have 23 minutes. Am I doing that math right? We'll say 23 minutes left. I'm a designer for a reason, not a math person.
You know what? I was good at 3 things in school.
What's that?
Math and science.
You and your dad jokes.
My dad jokes are so bad today.
We're gonna kick you off the street.
Somebody hook me up with some new jokes.
I'm gonna come with some more jokes for you.
Please,
next time.
yeah, I'm in bad shape here.
I'll slip them a few under the table.
Drowning in bad jokes
So
here.
this is a great submission, and what I love about this is in the style of Mark Crilly, and they mentioned what brushes they used.
Oh,
so
cool.
they're using Kyle's Ultimate Watercolor Soft. Kyle's Ultimate 2B Pencil. Great drawing. Does look a lot like, is it Gax that Mark Crilly does? I'm trying to remember the name. Yeah.
I gotta say, the ego on this guy, Kyle, every brush is named after him. It's messed up.
Yeah. Man. Check this one out. This is pretty cool. We've got a Picasso art robot. That's pretty awesome.
I like that.
I'm pretty into that.
That is fun.
Nice work. Ooh, this one's really sketchy. I like it.
What's he doing? He's got a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
That's a good one,
Happy
too.
robot.
You guys, these are so good. Ooh, I love the colors on this one.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really nice.
He's got some kind of a tractor style. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's going to town.
That's how he gets around.
That's pretty awesome. So you have 20 minutes. Submit your robots to us.
That's not
Pretty
a lot of
please. And if you're not quite done, don't worry. You still have a couple more hours that you can submit. But do it. We want to see your robots.
What a weird thing to say. We want to see your robots.
Let me see your robot.
That's what let's do the whole rest of the stream in robot voices. That one, nobody will care. They won't bother me.
Someone's making fun of me. They told me it took me way too long to get your school joke.
No way.
I never promised I was really
It wasn't.
bad.
It was such a bad joke. Bad jokes, they take a long time to get because you're waiting for more. You're expecting a lot more out of it. So when you realize that's all there was,
I know.
It's
I was waiting for you to finish.
Huge letdown. Sorry.
That's my excuse.
That's the problem. Yeah, that was the end of it. That's the thing. That, like our daughter and son, they have birthdays that were recent. And I thought I'd be clever by singing, the birthday song, "This is your birthday song, it isn't very long," and that's the whole thing. I thought they didn't know that, and they'd be laughing hysterically, and instead I sang it, and they said, everyone at school already does that.
Oh.
And they're tiny, they're 7 and 9.
Oh.
That was, So even my kids, I got to work on the humor now.
Well, I'll come armed with a few for you next time.
Their standards are pretty high.
I know. Kids these days.
So I look at this and I think, okay, is that okay? Do I want this level of finish? I don't know.
This is looking gorgeous.
Oh, thanks. Well, but I could do this, right? I could
yeah.
bring it down to nothing. That's where it was. There's where it is now. I think somewhere in the middle. Maybe like that. So that's why, if you work on a separate layer, no big deal. You have that flexibility. And I could just keep going, add another layer, try something else.
Yeah, this is great.
What I like too here is we could work with some color stuff. So let's try using overlay. So we'll use the blend mode for the layer, set it to overlay.
Now, I just want to point out here, if you go back to the blend mode, something that we've kind of rethought a little bit, which is just a simple thing. from Photoshop is we actually visualize all the blend modes. Because I know in Photoshop
Yes.
I'm always like going through them trying to figure out which one. We give you a tiny little preview here, which helps you. I mean, this one it's a little bit
And
more difficult.
I'll show you that because I'll fill the whole layer, which you can also show people. So let me just grab this warm color here. I'll do something like this. Let's get that a little softer. All right. So we got this warm orangey color. Okay. I'm just gonna tap.
You have to have an empty layer.
Oh, it's not what? I'm on the wrong
empty?
layer. Shame on me. Hang on a minute. Beep, beep. There. All right. Tap and hold, and that fills it.
Gorgeous.
Okay? Now the reason it looks pink is because it's on overlay, right? So if I click on that and we look at our blend modes again, we can preview what the other ones will look like. So here's darken, right? But I can see that little preview. And that's kind of interesting. You know, lighten. Look at all this fun
really
stuff.
Nice.
Soft light's kind of fun.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, you can in Sketch you can only fill an empty layer with color. I know some of you might be out there might be using Draw, or you saw the live stream before. I don't know if Rocky was using Draw or Sketch, but you can in Draw you can fill an enclosed area. But with Sketch, it's just an empty layer right now. So if you want like to put a background color on your sketch, or do what Kyle did, do the overlay, which I think is a really cool way of like checking out different options for it.
And so I'm gonna currently, I don't need this right now like this, I'm actually gonna paint in that mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and add another layer, set it to overlay. So we'll go to blend mode, overlay. All right, and now I've got that same brush, that roughen brush. I'm gonna size it way up. And let's say I wanna add some warmth on the face. So I'm just gonna paint over the cheeks a little bit, paint over the nose a little bit. Now that might be subtle. I don't know if people can see that in the stream. Can you all see that? I don't know. Can you let us know in the comments? Let me turn it on and off. Off, on.
Oh yeah, it's showing up.
So yeah, I can warm up these areas. I could even do something crazy, like use a crazy green color. You know, you can go nuts with it. You don't want to do that. But let me go back to where I was, sort of using these warmer colors, or maybe something a little yellower. So undo a bit, start over, just.
Oh, we had comments.
I went too far.
People are still in Mark Curly mode. They said that you were drawing blushies on your.
Blushies? What are blushies?
He draws these little like cute little rosy cheeks on his characters.
Oh, they're called blushies.
Blushies,
Oh. I didn't know what the name for those was. Blushies. All right. Yes, blushies.
That guy has his own language. You just gotta go with it.
I should have known that. I've seen stuff on his YouTube stuff before. I guess I just hadn't heard the blushies thing. Blushies. All right, so warming it up, warming it up, warming it up. All right. And then I could, if I wanted to, use a little bit more pressure when I'm painting with this brush. This is very pressure sensitive. And just add some hits of orangey, pinky goodness back here. In the hair.
It's looking great.
And then pull these over into the ear. Thank you.
You know what's so fun about watching the chat is we have so many people saying how much they're learning from you based on the drawing styles. They're learning about the overlays and what it can do. Someone just downloaded every single one of your brushes.
Woohoo!
I will warn you, do not upload them all to a library and try to bring them into Sketch all at once.
We said that earlier.
Find which one are your favorites.
Horrible idea.
Yeah.
Do not do it. I think it's a good chance to show the transform all layers.
Ooh, yes.
Because I want to.
It's another new great feature.
Yeah, push this over to the left. So, click on it. Transform all layers. Ba 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 boom. And now I can move everything together, just like so. So that feels a little bit better on that canvas. Alrighty. Everyone saw that, right?
Is that your commit?
That's the commit.
Noise?
That's the commit noise. I say this every time I do a stream, how much my students make fun of me for sound effects in class.
I feel like I don't know if Wes Anderson stole that from you or you stole it from Wes Anderson, the fantastic Mr. Fox.
Obviously he stole it from me. Let's be serious here. That guy can't come up with anything on his own. He's not original. Come on. I want to work with you, Wes Anderson.
Burn.
Please just ignore that.
You just lost your chance so hard.
Please let me collaborate with you on a project sometime in my life. That'd be amazing. It's too late now. See, what have I done? Oh gosh.
So Tim just asked, is it possible to save this out as a PSD file? And the answer is yes. You can actually go to the share icon in the top right corner, and there's an option that says send to desktop, and you can send that to Photoshop, and you will get all of your layers as in one
pretty
Photoshop.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Pretty good.
And just to reiterate, we do have pretty large document sizes in the shipping apps, but very large document sizes, 20 by 27 inches.
Cool.
300 DPI is coming soon.
Soon.
You did not hear that from me.
Oh wait, is that a secret?
Well, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I may or may not have said that to somebody.
At one time.
I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I think we can leave this alone. We can move on to something else.
Okay.
It's like you said, it's like you can keep messing with something endlessly.
Yeah. I think it's gorgeous. I think it looks amazing.
Okay, well then that's it.
I mean,
We're done. Thank
print
you.
it, be done.
Okay, all right.
I do want to say we have 13 minutes and 13 seconds left in the challenge.
Uh-oh.
Hurry, no pressure. We've got a lot of submissions. You guys have been very hard at work.
Let me sign it.
Ooh, do I get a print?
Whatever. I'm happy to print this
print.
thing, I guess. I mean, but see, then I feel like, oh, I better work on it some more and make it better. That's the problem with when you know you're going to print something. You don't want to just leave it be. You want to keep messing with it until it's exactly right. But I'll just do that. All right, little signature, and this is the funny thing about digital. I can reduce the opacity of the signature. Because I don't want to take center stage. There are more things I would probably do with this, but the main thing is I wanted you all to get this as a demo to see that you can start with just random brushstrokes and splatters and shapes and whatever else it is, and then make something emerge out of that. You can react to what you see on the display, and this is a way of working that I just hope you all will give a go because it's super fun. But now we'll just shift gears entirely and do something that is more thought out and probably more traditional, I guess, in the sense of how
I'm
it's
sorry,
gonna
this is
approach
just
it.
kind of disgusting that you created something so beautiful. You're like, I need to do something a little more thought out. This is amazing.
It's nothing.
Get out of here.
And the crazy thing is, I'm actually right-handed, so I just drew the whole thing left-handed. No.
I was feeling some left-handed solidarity with you here.
I am left-handed. I'm just kidding. It's would be fun.
Me too.
You do not know I am not left-handed. The Princess Bride. Come on, great movie.
While you're switching over, I want to just, as some quick inspiration, because we only have about 11 minutes left, let's switch over and look at some of the other robots. We've got this little guy.
That reminds me of
Super
something.
cute.
That reminds me of something.
I felt the same. Then we've got this one.
Whoa.
That's pretty awesome. It's got some Adobe logo stuff going on there.
Pretty dimensional. I like that.
I know.
Pretty cool.
That's super cute.
Aw.
He's kind of like, it's like he's waiting for his robot girlfriend. It's so cute. And then we've got this one.
Oh, I like this.
Oh, that's fun.
Jamming out.
Yeah, he is super jamming out.
Nice texture in there, too.
That is really good.
Mm-hmm. That could be a good little icon.
I know.
Somebody's
That's pretty
avatar.
cool.
Well, oh, that's funny. A fishbowl.
I'm really into that.
I've never seen that.
These are so good, you guys. So, 10 minutes, 28 seconds. Hurry, scurry.
Okay. People need to keep working.
Let's
and
switch.
I'll shift gears here.
We'll stop distracting.
So I could just use the same document, but I'll close this one and we'll add a new one. All right, and we're just going to do another landscape mode here. And so people don't use the perspective grid enough. I know some people know it's out there, but I don't think enough people know how to use it or know it's there. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to just demonstrate quickly what it is, how it looks, and then draw a little robot.
Let's do it.
And by the way, robots are not my thing, so I am not going to be curlying it out here. I'm going to be Webstering it out. Webstering it out, it's going to look ugly, but we're going to go for it anyway.
Yeah, you've got 9 minutes, man. You better hurry.
All right, so boom, boom, boom. Let's be quick. I'm going to grab a pencil. I had loaded this high-res pencil, I call it. This is for stuff that's, I'm working on something a little bigger. All right, just crank that down. Let's see how that looks. Lovely, lovely. Okay. Can size that down a notch. Now up here, I've got this. Should I turn on? This would be a good chance for me to turn on the touch settings here. So preferences, show touches. This way people will be able to see what I'm doing. Go back to my work. All right, now you can see where I touch the screen. Good. So right up here, this little gearbox. Ta-da! Open that up. You see grids. I can add one. I'm going to select perspective. And just like that, perspective grid lands magically on your document. And I can pinch and zoom way down to get my 2 vanishing points, right and left, visible on the screen. And actually, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to cancel out of here for just a second. I'm going to zoom out because I want you to be able to see where those are located. Open up my grids, add another perspective grid. There we go. Zoom out.
And I do want to point out that if you have an image on the canvas, you can create a grid from the image. That's a little bit more complicated.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. Brooke.
Tell you new things every day. But let's do this. This is cool.
So you're looking at things in true 3-point perspective, actually. Because if I pull my horizon line way up here, you will notice that when you look at the cube, that's demoing what things are looking like for you. My vertical lines are actually not perfectly vertical. They're all going to converge on a 3rd vanishing point way below my canvas. All right, so this is better than the regular old 2-point, right? We've got 3-point perspective. So I'm going to set mine up here, and I'm going to get my horizon line a little lower, like so. And down here, the grid density, you can scroll that up or out. I like to have as many lines as possible visible at all times. And I just say done. Now, what good does this do me? Well, what you can do is if you use your shape tools up here or your rulers, okay, I'm going to start with the ruler. I can now draw a straight line. And as I move my ruler, I'm just using one finger here, swiveling that ruler up and down, it is locked to the vanishing point on my left. Okay, so I can draw these lines that are perfectly parallel to one another in perspective all day long. Beautiful. But what if you want to draw one on the other side, vanishing point to the right? Just tap on the cube that you see here. It shows you which face you want to select. I'll select the right side. Now I'm locked to that right side, so I can draw my lines from the right side, vanishing point, all the way through, like so. Click on the top face, and now I've got my lines coming from the top. So, very, very precise, very nice, and you see how that works. So you could draw a building, you could draw any kind of structure, you could draw some kind of design for
I'm looking for a robot, and I'm just not seeing it in here.
You don't see the robot? It's totally there.
I don't know, man. I think you're...
Let's turn that off. Now, we'll move on. All right, so I wanted to show you also how you can use shapes. So let's use circle. And I can pull this up above or below my vanishing point. You can see that it will automatically conform to become exactly what I want. So I'm going to pop that up there. And as I draw with my pencil, it locks me into that circle. Now I'm just going to pull it down to here. I'm going to draw just the front edge, like so. Grab my ruler. Draw down to there. Draw down to here. And then I realized, oops, I got to erase that because I didn't do a good job with, with that bottom one. So I'm going to turn off the ruler for a moment. And you'll see that as I do that, I can erase. No problemo. All right. Now I'm going to grab my ellipse again. To make it larger, I just pinch and zoom. Position it right there. Make it a little smaller. And that's going to be the bottom of the robot head. Nice.
Someone's asking if you can do this on the desktop too, and it kind of gives me satisfaction to say no.
You're not supposed to be happy about that.
I know.
No,
but I do kind of like it.
It is cool that this
when
is,
you can do, when sometimes there are some times that we have features on the iPad that are not on the desktop.
It is pretty neat. Yeah, I mean that's.
So download Sketch because it's free.
That's right. I always forget that it's free.
It is free. Yep.
That's bananas.
It is bananas.
Now let's say you want to do some freehand drawing. No big deal. I don't have a ruler selected. I don't have anything else going on, so I can just come down here and add to this little corner here anytime I like. All right, so now I'm going to use a triangle. I'm going to select the right side. Oh, wrong triangle. Hang on a minute. I want this one. There we go. And I'm going to select this side. I'm trying to. Oh, am I running out of time? How much time do we have?
No, we've got plenty of time. We've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds for people to submit their
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
You have more time.
I got plenty of time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will give you more time to draw your robot.
Thank goodness.
Out of the goodness of our hearts.
Well, I was going to do a robot that had like perfect perspective. Then I was going to use the perspective grid as a way to freehand draw a robot. Which, you know, but I wanted to show people that you can have any polygon. Mm-hmm. You can drag it around. And instead of simply drawing around it, you can actually tap and hold, and it will draw around the shape for you with whatever brush you're currently using, which is pretty neat. Mm-hmm. So I can take this, pull it over here.
It's like he's got little flipper hands. Yeah. I don't know what it is you're doing, but it looks like a little.
No, I did it wrong. Like that wasn't what I wanted. Hang on a second. I want to try that again. I'm trying to make a nose, but I wanted it to be. Yeah, see, guys, I don't do precise stuff. If anyone's ever looked at my stuff before, they know it's a lot of loosey-goosey freehand stuff. So I'll put the nose right there. All right, tap and hold. There we go. And give him some eyes. This is gonna be the worst robot in the whole competition.
I doubt it.
It's okay.
My robot would be the worst robot. Because it's not drawn.
Oh, this is just, it's awful. So bad. Anyway, you get how the tool works, right?
Yeah. You guys, you have 25 seconds to submit.
So there is how you use the perspective.
25 seconds, not 25 minutes.
25 seconds? Oh, well, can I enter this? Is this good enough?
No, you still have like 30 minutes.
Oh, good, so I can do another one.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna like give him these googly eyes. Make them all like weird looking. There's my robot.
He's kind of cute.
Amazing.
Masterpiece.
So the purpose of this was to show you how the grid works, but that's not something that I usually do mechanical drawing. However, I hope you understand that you can design on any face of the cube, right? Mm-hmm. pinch and zoom to enlarge the shape. And you can use the scale here to make it taller or wider. Also very convenient. Tap and hold, and that fills the shape. So pretty nifty. And now I'll use the perspective grid to freehand draw. So let's get rid of this. Close my shape. All right, so I'm going to change my grid. Come to my grid and then edit it.
So I do want to say, if you guys submit, don't stop drawing your robots. Submit your robots, and we can review them in the next live stream.
Oh.
You too can have your robot viewed
Excellent.
on the stream. So please keep drawing.
So it's my responsibility, though, to pick a robot I like, right? Is it falling on me?
I think that's the deal.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
You've got big challenge ahead of you.
I don't want to make anybody sad or anything, so I'm always worried I'm going to offend someone. Oh, well. All right. I want this one to have a lower horizon line.
While you're doing that, let's take a look at some of the final submissions.
Okay.
Should we do that?
Mm-hmm.
We've got this guy. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Whoa.
I'm super into that. The colors are nice. It's got a great background.
That was done in when? When did they start doing that?
It looks like it's done in Illustrator. Maybe they've been working on it all day because you can submit.
Yeah. Wow, that's
really good.
Nicely done.
I'm pretty into that one.
Nicely done.
We've also got this guy. Whoa.
Whoa, what is
He's a scary
he looks
dude.
menacing.
I know.
He's scaring me a little bit.
I know. We've got Runner Robo, which that's got some texture in it.
That's cute.
Yeah. It's super cute. I'm seeing some halftone
Oh, yeah.
brushes there.
Nice. For shadows,
Pretty
those are good. Those
Yeah.
are good for shadows.
Then we've got this cute little guy with some balloons.
A lot of these robots are very happy.
Yeah.
Even despite the fact that there's obviously been a nuclear holocaust and the sky is green. And but the robots don't care. That doesn't affect them.
You have balloons. Balloons make everyone happy. Cool.
All right, nice.
So, would
gonna
it be
set this
helpful
up.
if I like sort of curate them down for you?
I think so.
Okay, and then we
Thank
can
you.
review them at the end.
Yeah. So I was going to demonstrate, I'm going to now, because I have this grid turned on, it just gives me something to look at while I'm drawing so that I can draw in better perspective. So I can think about things following along.
Oh, I think we got to switch back to your iPad.
I forgot about the, are we
There we
not
go.
on? Yeah. I'm going to actually turn off that touch thing now, if you don't mind,
yeah.
because I just want to be able to see what I'm drawing without that.
I do have to say one thing I want to see before the end of this is I would love time to see the time lapse of your woman sketch.
The other one.
Let's finish the
Cool, okay.
let's finish the robot.
Sure, we can do that. So I'm just going to think about what's the structure here. I love that I can then have these guides in place. They're telling me how to keep my stuff organized. I'm just working in simple sort of cubey shapes right now to build this robot body. I had a ton of Transformers when I was a kid. That was my toy. Loved Transformers. So I'm probably going to make this wind up looking something like a Transformer without even meaning to. If that happens, now you know why. And I don't mean a Transformer like the movies that came out in the last decade.
You mean like the original Transformer?
Yeah, the old school metal toys.
Yep.
And they were metal. They were plastic and metal. I mean, these things lasted. My son and daughter have a couple of my original ones, and it's like they came out of the box yesterday. I mean, they're so sturdy.
Yeah.
And I went and looked at some of the newer ones just out of curiosity at the toy store, and they're this cheap plastic. You know,
they are.
They don't last. So they need to step it up and make these have some staying power.
This is cool. Now, maybe I missed it. What brush are you using for this?
This is a pencil that
I really like the texture of it.
Thanks. This one's in the Mega Pack. It's called Pencil High Res.
Mm-hmm.
And it's originally sized, it's like 30 or 40 pixels so that you can draw on with a pencil on a large document, not have it be too tiny. So. Now, if I did not have these guides to look at, it would be super hard for me to get these lines to feel like they're going at the right angle.
Yeah,
I'd just be doing a lot of eyeballing.
Easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely looking a little Transformer.
I know, because it's simple and boxy.
Yep.
And that's...
It's interesting how you can emulate something by just like doing kind of basic stuff. And I know that's a general drawing principle, but sometimes like the less lines that you put in, the more you can emulate a certain thing or style.
Well, and I'm again, I'm not Mark, so for me, this is complicated. And I'm really having to think about like design and how this all comes together and how are these pieces going to connect and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure, in 5 minutes he would have something that would look much more sophisticated and exciting.
We have someone asking how much time is left for submitting the challenge. Unfortunately, the challenge deadline for this stream is over, but please still submit your stuff because we are going to be reviewing those submissions during the next stream.
That's a cool thing. That means there are more opportunities to get in on the action. Yeah, so with drawing, generally speaking, people should get comfortable with sketching properly. And that means longer lines, not doing this.
Really
if you can see over my hand, like the camera that's over my hand, this kind of thing to work out a line. These tiny little dabs as you work your way around it. Don't do that. Do that. Go for the whole thing.
Yeah, now, as you guys can see, Kyle's making, you've probably made like 50 strokes already, but just light.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to shape this thing. Again, not a robot designer by any stretch of the imagination, so.
I don't know. I'd probably hire you.
Thank you. All right, now we got to get an arm coming out of here, so we're going to connect this to this.
Oh man, we just had another dad joke on the
sweet,
chat.
Sweet.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, of course.
It's not really a joke, it's more of a comment.
Uh-oh.
Watching this video today is a stroke of luck.
Ha. Nice.
Good one, Daniel.
Nice. I like it.
That's pretty good. And Mark is asking how to share a project. All you do is you tap the share icon, which is the third icon from the right in the top right-hand corner, and you have a bunch of share options. That's how you get to your time lapse. You can send it to Photoshop or Illustrator, and it comes through with all the layers as a PSD or a .ai file. You can share it on Messenger, share it to Messenger. You can share it to Instagram. Almost any app you choose. I should not say any app you choose. Nearly any app you choose.
Almost. A lot. Say that.
And for those of you who are still drawing robots, you do need to submit that on Behance. So sign up for a Behance account if you don't have one yet. It's a great way to showcase your work.
I've got one.
Ooh, I do too.
Yeah?
All the cool kids have one.
Yeah. You're not cool if you don't have one.
Actually, I have like 2 or 3 of them, I think.
Oh, you can do more than one?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I might do that. Because then I could show certain kinds of stuff.
You can have an, what are they, like an alias?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have I bought the domain names for
or an
2
anti-alias.
No. Now you're doing dad jokes.
I know, I can't help myself. Stop, Brooke.
I actually bought 2 domain names
you?
for my aliases. As an illustrator, I wanted to work in different styles that were so far removed from my own. And so anyway, one of them is the name of one of my uncles, and the other one was just one I made up. That's a weird name. And I just have never done anything with them, but I've owned them for years, and I just keep meaning to someday get around to making them do something, you know. I don't know if I ever will. But I thought it'd be fun.
Yeah. That's another question I was going to ask you, and this is an interesting conversation I like to have a lot, is you have a lot of different styles, and I think that's really cool. I think there's some people who want to be, they say, oh, I want this to be my style or that to be my style. And I think, you know, everyone has a different opinion, but I think maybe some of the downsides of being a particular style is it doesn't allow you to evolve your style over time, because you always have people coming back to you and saying, hey, I want this particular style. So if at some point you decide, hey, I want to move on, I would explore different avenues or different styles, you tend to be kind of stuck to that style or genre or whatever it is you're doing.
That can happen. Yeah, and I so there's a little article I wrote on Medium. You can read it if you like. Talks all about that. If you want to link in the chat, it's The Style Problem for Artists is the title of the article, and maybe our good pal Paco, who's over there? Is that Paco? There he is.
Paco.
Maybe Paco could find that, or if we could get that in the chat, or Gus, or who's doing it? It's Gus.
Oh, we already got it.
Woo! Thank you. And that just lays out my whole thinking on that. And my thinking has always been that working in one style can be great, and that's wonderful, and you can build a whole wonderful career on that. And I don't do it, though. I like working in multiple styles because I like to get lots of different kinds of work that just wouldn't fit with one. So I think if you say, you know, you do this one thing really well, that's awesome. So like you're the person who draws zombies better than everybody else, you know. But what happens if you really want to do a Hallmark card with a kitten on it, and you're the zombie person?
Yeah.
They're not going to call you,
You're
you know.
stuck,
So throw some kittens on there too in your portfolio. You know, don't limit yourself to working on just zombies. That's all I'm saying.
Great advice from a great man.
Thank you.
There you go, folks.
Don't just draw zombies. If we're going to summarize it, yeah, don't just draw zombies. Is that good advice?
Yeah. While you're working on that, there's a few final submissions I missed the last time that I want to go over quick. So we've reviewed all of them before we have to make the decision.
Yes.
All right. So we got some robots. That's pretty clever.
I love the faces. I like the face on the one on the right too.
I know. They're so determined. They're rowing away. Then we've got this guy, goldfish. Why does that robot look so familiar?
That robot wants to eat the goldfish.
It kind of reminds me of like a Ex Machina style or something. I'm not for
I
sure.
still need to see that.
Yeah.
It looks like a cool flick.
Yeah. And then we've got something called the Kyle bot.
Aw.
That's really cute. Is that you?
Someone's driving it.
Yeah. And we have a sad panda.
But look at the head of the robot. It's also a panda. That's super cool.
I know. That's pretty good.
Nicely done.
Very well. Very well done.
I like it.
And then we've got a cat bot.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I like that. Good pause.
Yeah, these are awesome. Let's go back to the...
I don't know what's going on here. This is a disaster. I am not a robot
Disaster
person.
bot? Is that what we're
it's
calling
disaster
this
bot. It's just, it's so hard to draw robots. How do people do it? I do not understand. My brain just doesn't work this way. It's like keep things connected in some logical way.
I don't know. It's pretty good.
It's robot-y, right?
It's all right. I mean, you know.
It looks robot-y.
Seriously.
All these hard edges. And
I remember when it was a couple of years ago, I was streaming with you at Max, and you're like, I think I'm going to draw a cat on a skateboard today in Palm Beach. And I was like,
yeah.
Sure you are. Sure you are, Kyle. And like, 15 minutes later, there's a cat on a skateboard in Palm Beach, no reference photo, nothing.
Well, I mean, that's because it's the kind of thing you see a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we see cats on skateboards all the time. So after a while, it just gets burned in there. Now, robots, for me, and it's funny, as a kid who grew up loving this stuff so much, I never drew it, ever. I drew horses, and I drew lots of cats and dogs. Like, I love drawing animals, organic things, you know, superheroes, whatever. but anything that had straight edges or whatever, I stayed really far away from. And so it's really funny that when I first started out illustrating, I said, okay, I'm going to make sure in my portfolio I have nothing that shows mechanical stuff or, machinery or cars or planes. And then I had this run of like 6 years illustrating every other month or so for Road and Track.
Oh.
So I was constantly having to draw cars and didn't want to admit to the art director that I hated it.
Oh, no.
I didn't want to do that work, but I needed money, so of course I did it, but every time Road and Track would call, I'd be like, no. I'd have to think super, super hard, and just wasn't my thing. No, I could not do it.
We have someone named, we have Brett on the channel. He's asking, how come some brushes I import from Photoshop come through as dots? And that could be because you are trying to import maybe some of the smudge brushes or the mixer brushes or the erasers. That is my guess.
I'm going to guess the same thing. I'm guessing that what that is you're trying to import a brush that is not a standard Photoshop brush. It's a mixer brush, a smudge tool, or an eraser. Yeah. Otherwise, there's no other explanation for it. Tell us the name of the brush, and we can confirm we can confirm that.
So they were floral brushes, which is that might just be might not be your brush. Do you have floral brushes?
I have some leaves and things like that in the concept brush kit, but some of them are mixer brushes.
Okay.
So make sure you watch for that.
Gotcha.
If they're mixer brushes, it won't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
So that was another impressive thing about Kyle. Like when we did your Make It show on YouTube, we played this game where I made a line on the iPad with one of his brushes, and he had to guess the brush. And it was so impressive because I think you accurately guessed a decent amount of them.
I think I could have done better. It was tough. That was a tough challenge because some of them, unless I were to draw with them myself.
Yes. Because I was drawing. I think I maybe allowed you to draw a little bit.
Might have, yeah. You can't blame me though with that many. I'm gonna mess that up.
I was impressed. I mean, I was blown away.
Cool. All right, good. Mission accomplished.
Also, how do you come up with the names for some of these things?
I think of something fun, and then, or I think of something that describes a natural media counterpart for it.
Okay.
So if it's just a really weird, fun brush, like the Ruffin brush, Ruffin, I thought was cute,
Yeah.
But that I just thought, this is good for roughing stuff in.
Yeah.
So that was the name there. And then, but there are others, that really make sense, like Pastel Palooza it's a pastel brush. And I was in college in the 90s, so Lollapalooza was a big deal.
Yeah, there was a time when everything was named something Palooza.
Palooza, yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to bring that back. With mild success.
Someone says they use your Spatterbot tilt brush religiously.
Oh, good. I love that brush. Thank you. I'm glad you used that one. Yeah, that takes advantage of tilt.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll tell you, the user, this is going to respond to tilt. It says it in the name. So.
Someone's asking, how do you not zoom in and out when you're drawing? Is that just habit?
I'm just comfortable seeing everything I'm doing right now at this stage. What I should be doing is this. So the smart way to design this would not be doing what I'm doing now. And this is actually bad. This is a bad way to do it. The right way to do it would be pick a brush that's bigger, like the Ruffin brush, okay? Oops, let me grab it again. Grab the Ruffin. So this is like big like that. The smart thing to do would be zoom out a little bit and just figure out what's the general shape of this thing, right? Like so. And then...
But we're practicing bad illustration techniques.
Yeah, I
today.
wanted to show everybody the wrong way to do it first, and then come around to the right. See, now this allows me to work out a silhouette, right, to scale, and I can then design off of that. That's a smart way to do it. But for some reason, I just got locked in doing it from the details.
Yeah,
it's totally not the way you're supposed to do it. So I'm using perspective. See, I'm locking it in. I'm looking at where things need to go, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I'm designing
put this
with
on a shirt.
Big shapes. So this way, this is good habits versus bad habits. So now I can go clear. Let's go blend mode, clear. I can push some of this stuff down.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not so dark.
So we have, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We have Kristen who's asking how does she find the libraries in the Sketch app. All you do is you long press on one of your brushes and your option will come up to choose a different brush, or if you tap the back button, you can go find your libraries, or you can add. So you can add from Creative Cloud, you can add from wherever.
Should I demonstrate that really quick?
If you'd like.
Yeah, okay, so let's do that. So here's my brush, tap, and then I'm going to tap and long press on that brush. I can see the brushes that are currently loaded. If I want to change my library, I just go over to the little top left arrow, the blue arrow, tap on that, shows me the libraries that I've previously loaded, and I can select what I need.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Very cool. So it is, I have to say, I want us to finish up this robot, but we have to judge. We have to judge. We have a contest. This is really important.
I have one that I like. Oh, I'm putting my head in front of the camera. Look, how do you like it? Good job shaving. Pretty nice. The one that I like,
okay.
I already know. I saw it right off the bat, and I thought that's the one. It was the robot standing with the background with the sky with the clouds. I don't know who that one.
That one. You
I
like
just
that
think
one?
that's the color palette's really cool.
It is a really good color palette.
I just really dig it.
Yeah.
So I don't know who the artist is of that one. Do we know who the artist is?
I actually do not know, but I'm sure we can find out from our lovely secret iPad that's behind the camera that tells me things that I should do.
Well, whoever did that one.
Yeah,
props.
it is a really good one.
Really
and I do have to say, for those of you who are wondering how to add Kyle's brushes to libraries to get them into Sketch, just watch the replay of this. He showed at the very beginning exactly how you do it. It's really easy to do. You can get all of his brushes on the iPad. I will say the eraser, the mixer brush, the smudge. Was there any other one? Some of the concept brushes?
So any mixer brushes, smudge tools, erasers will not port over. There's also that weird one called a pencil tool that nobody uses, that I'm aware of. Somebody might use it though, so I always hate saying that because I'm worried that I could be lying. And someone's gonna say, hey, I use that every day. So yeah,
Yeah. So we've got the winner up on screen, Kyle's favorite. You love the color. I think the color's great.
There's a foreground, middle ground, a background. There's some atmospheric perspective there with the trees. There's the shadow, the clear source of light from the back. You've got the shadow of the feet coming forward. Great use of a limited palette. It's all just super cool.
Joel Jensen, well done.
Joel, well done, Joel.
Very good. It's
like
awesome.
It very much.
It's really beautiful.
Congratulations.
And
that's very cool.
I mean, the addition of the Adobe logo is pretty cute on it. It's hard not to do that.
That has no impact on the judging whatsoever.
No.
I just wanted to say that it is also a nice touch, but certainly.
Congratulations, Joel. That's really good.
Slick. Well done. Like it very much. So I'm looking at perspective here. I'm thinking, okay, keep these in line, keep these in line. I'm still using the perspective grid. It's right there. I can see it. But, for me, this is an easier way to design.
So
big shapes first.
I have one last request. I'm dying to see the time lapse.
Let's do it.
Of the girl before we finish.
All right, now
or the woman.
I might just play around with this tomorrow. Who knows?
And it will magically be done.
Or I'll just do
or
it
just
today.
play it tomorrow
I'll
on the
just do
stream.
it today, and it's you'll be like, what? All right, let's do that. Close this for a minute.
All right, guys. One last treat.
Pop this
Our
open.
time lapse of
Here
this
we go.
beautiful woman illustration.
And to do a time lapse, all you do is go over to the little gearbox
Actually,
icon
go to
here.
share.
Or share. I'm sorry, I forgot. Been a while. There it is. Share. And here you see time lapse. Second from the bottom. Click on that. Shows you what it looks like at the end. If I hit play, we'll watch from the very beginning. And here it is.
And what I love about these videos is it's a great way to see process.
Yeah.
One thing I feel like is that when I watch someone else's time lapse, I can kind of learn how they approach a piece of work and see how they build it up.
Yeah.
And it actually helps me learn as well.
I love watching time lapse stuff. It's fun.
I have also talked to a few artists who say in the middle of it, like if they're getting kind of like bummed out about how much progress they're making, they'll go back and watch their time lapse
And then
just
they
for
feel
like
good?
the full satisfaction purpose, being like, yeah, I'm doing something awesome, which
That's
I think
funny.
is pretty cool.
It is fun
All
to
right.
watch. Yeah.
Our time is up.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You've been an awesome audience. Like I said, all the comments have been like warm hugs.
Oh, good. Thank you for the warm hugs and all the nice comments.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.